Today, we're looking at what is, no question, a landmark moment in Japanese political history. A political glass ceiling that has stood for centuries has just been completely shattered. So, we're going to explore exactly how it happened and what it might mean for Japan's future. You're going to want to mark this one on your calendars, October 21st, 2025. This is the day Japan's political landscape was, well, fundamentally changed. After a long history of male leadership, a brand new era has just kicked off.
All right, so who is at the very center of this historic shift? Let's meet Sanae Takaichi, who is now Japan's 104th prime minister. And what makes her election so incredibly significant is simple. She's the very first woman in Japan's entire constitutional history to hold the nation's top job.
So, how did she actually get there? Well, the path to prime minister in Japan isn't through a big public election. It actually runs right through Japan's parliament, which is called the National Diet. And for Takaichi, victory came down to two separate and, as you'll see, dramatically different votes. Okay, so the Japanese Diet has two chambers. You've got the lower house, which is the more powerful one, and then you have the upper house. To become prime minister, a candidate has to win a majority in both. Now, for Takaichi, the vote in the lower house, that was pretty much a straightforward victory. But the upper house, well, that was a whole different story. So in the lower house, the magic number for majority was 233. Takaichi didn't just meet it, she sailed right past it, with 237 votes on the very first ballot. It was a clear, decisive win. No drama, no need for a second round. Easy peasy. But yeah, that smooth sailing in the lower house did not carry over. The upper house vote was where things got, well, incredibly tense. And you want to know how close it was? Look at this. On the first ballot in the upper house, Takaichi gets 123 votes. She needed 124. Just one single vote short. Unbelievable. So that triggered a runoff vote against a runner-up. And in that second vote, she managed to pick up two more votes, getting her to 125, and finally clinching the majority. A victory by the absolute narrowest of margins. All right, so with the election secured, the next absolutely crucial step is forming a government. You know, in Japan's parliamentary system, a prime minister needs a solid coalition to actually wield power and get laws passed. Her power base is going to rest on a partnership between two key parties. First, there's her own party, the long-dominant Liberal Democratic Party, or the LDP, and they'll be joined by Nippon Ishin no Kai, or Ishin, which is a more conservative, reform-minded party. This alliance is really the political engine that's going to drive her government's entire agenda. Okay, so she's won the election, she's formed a coalition. What's next? Let's take a look at her immediate agenda, her day one priorities as prime minister. This quote right here really sums up her focus perfectly. Right out of the gate, it's all about two critical areas, the economy and national security. She has vowed swift action on both, which signals a really clear sense of urgency. So what does swift action actually look like in terms of policy? Well, on the economy, she's pushing for a supplementary budget specifically to tackle those rising prices and provide some relief for families. And then on national security, she's ordering an immediate revision of Japan's core defense documents. This is a direct response to what her government is calling a worsening security environment in the region. Now, winning the vote in the Diet is obviously the biggest step, but it's not the final one. The same day is this absolute whirlwind of formal ceremonies and procedures to officially install the new leader and her government. The day of the election is just a flurry of official procedure. It all starts with the Diet vote, of course. That's followed by the formal appointment by the emperor at the imperial palace, a huge deal. And then, the day culminates with her very first press conference as prime minister, where she'll finally get to address the nation and lay out her vision for the future. So, what we have is a historic election, a super dramatic vote, and a really clear set of priorities that are kicking off a new administration. A major barrier in Japanese politics has fallen. But, this is just the beginning. The real question, the one that history is going to judge her on, is how a leader who broke with centuries of tradition will now go on to reshape the future of the entire nation.